Today I have a wonderful color pencil portrait for you. My son Kelvin had just lost his top tooth, and I wanted to sketch this important day in my sketchbook. I took a photo of him with my phone, and I'm just going to use my phone as a reference for his portrait. So you can see here I'm not using the most technical pencil, but I absolutely love them. They're so easy to draw with, and the eraser is absolutely amazing on them. So you can see I just sketched this out freehand. So I decided to keep the sketch of Kelvin very loose. I didn't want to add too many details because I knew I was going to be adding in color pencil in over the top of it, and I didn't want it to smear too much. So I used the Prismacolor Premier color pencils for this. I've used these color pencils for years, probably, if I was to say about 30 years. When I was younger, they used to be called barrel Prismacolors, but now they're called, looks like just called Prismacolor Premiers. So what I love about these color pencils is that they are absolutely so soft. I decided to pick up a new set. I just picked up the 24 count portrait set. I have a link down below if you would like to check these out for yourself and pick them up. They're absolutely amazing. They have so many colors that I have already used in the past for these portraits. All these colors are specifically geared towards any skin tone. And these colors, while there's many more to choose from, I find that the curated collection that they chose for this little mini tin of 24 is perfect. You'd be able to sketch any portrait out of these color pencils. I love them. Sadly, but also good, these color pencils have been my go-to, like I said, for about 30 years. And why? Because they're amazing. They're absolutely amazing. I think sometimes we fall in love with something and we don't want to let it go, or we feel like we're art supply cheating when we decide to pick up another brand. But as I've been watching some other YouTubers, I've kind of been inspired to pick up a different brand and check them out. We'll see how they go. We're gonna hit our supply store tomorrow and do a vlog there, so we'll see what I can find. But for right now, these these Prismacolor Premiers are absolutely amazing. As you can see, I'm just sketching out this shirt. It's taking forever. I've sharpened my pencil several times working on this shirt. This is not traditional, what do I want to say, color pencil paper. I typically use Stonehenge. But for what I'm doing here in my sketchbook, this is just fine. So I'm using this paper towel. It's one of those really nice soft paper towels to cover up the purple because I didn't want to smear any of that wax over his face while I was working. Now, this beautiful golden color that I'm using right now, it's sand. It is beautiful, and it's got a nice sharp point. You got to remember to have that nice sharp point when you are starting a portrait. You want to make sure that you, as you can see here, work on that tippy toe of your color pencil. You want to make sure that that color pencil falls into those little texture pits of the paper. Stonehenge paper is 100% cotton, so it grips the wax very well. While this does a pretty decent job, it still wants to glaze over the top. And when you're doing several layers with color pencil, you want to make sure that you have paper that has a tooth to it. So it grips those several layers of pencils and holds those layers real nice, where you're not building up just a series of wax like you would if you were working with, say, crayons. So when you're working on the tippy toe of your color pencil, you want to do nice light scumbling circles for each layer. Now you can see I keep rotating my pencil because you want to keep the pencil super sharp, and sometimes when you wear down even just a little micro section of the tip, you want to keep like rotating it, rotating your pencil in your hand just to find another sharp pointed area on the tip, and until you have to resharpen again. If you rush your color pencil scumbling, then you will have big striations of white paper, and you'll also see as it's flattening out. If you rush it and you go really fast with your coloring just to get it done, and you're pushing really hard, you will flatten your pencil out in no time, and you will have those big white scuffs of your sketchbook, and it'll be very hard to recover layers over the top of it to fill in. So here's a bunch of my pencils that I've had in my stash that I've added to my previous stash. So it's not just a portrait collection. I just added them to the rest, but a lot of these are dull. The ones that I need for right here, I gotta get them sharpened. And you can see how flattened that was, that lavender color for his shirt. And so I need to sharpen all of these. I can't take it anywhere. I gotta sharpen them. And they need to be this sharp with this, like, just like this pencil right here. And so I can keep going. But getting in that good habit of keeping your pencil super sharp, I typically have a color pencil, electric one, sitting next to me, and it's really, really good. It doesn't chew up the pencils. You can see right here, they're super sharp now, and I am ready to rock and roll again. Look at those gorgeous colors. Ready to go. I'm going to need all of these as I work along, and these Prismacolors, I just can't say enough about them. They're just amazing. The colors are bright, and they just go on like butter. So these are the colors I'm going to keep working with for my portraits, and I'm going to build up the layers, and this is the next set of colors I will be adding over the top. I always start with my sands, my buffs, and my beiges, and then I work into the pinks, and then again into the yellows, and then I can keep working back and forth. Yeah, I kind of switched to zoom in a little bit with my camera, and it got a little bit blurry. I'm sorry about that. Keep switching back and forth with my iPhone and my Nikon, and I zoomed in, and it just didn't give me the quality that I was looking for you guys, so I'm sorry about that. I was trying to zoom in so much where you can see the texture, but so I'm going to zoom up and scoot along a little bit, and you guys can watch how I work with my portrait, and I will jump in a little bit. All right, so now we're getting into the pinks. So again, working up on the tippy toe of that color pencil will really give you a nice smooth tone. Sometimes I will work back and forth in a linear direction versus scumbling. I find myself doing that, like rotating back and forth. I guess really depends on the area that I'm working on. And sometimes, I kind of fall in line, I think, with a lot of people. You just want to kind of get it done. So sometimes I am working in that fashion. Yeah, it's maybe a bad habit. So I'm just kind of rounding out the edges of his nose because the nose protrudes away from the face. You really want to catch that shadow, that warmth, that nose is rounded and it rolls underneath. This little color these little color changes are really what you're looking for when you're creating a portrait, especially when you're looking at a photograph or someone that's sitting for you in life. You really want to make sure you get those warm colors and those warm tones. Again, it's the whole chiaroscuro. It's the light and dark equal form. So we want to make sure that we have nice lights, nice warm glowing lights with these nice warm colors that this Prismacolor set gives you. Also, you want to make sure that as you move along and layer up, you want to add those warm, rich, dark colors in as well. Again, I'm just keeping that pencil super, super sharp. And I'm working in that ear because his ears are bright red. I don't know if you caught some glimpses of my phone as I've been working, but I think he was very nervous that he lost his tooth. He was a little upset and a little panic stricken that his tooth had fallen out. So his ears were really bright red. So I just wanted to capture that. Adding in those nice warm glow colors. You can see from my phone, his face has a lot of those glowing warm colors. His cheeks are really pink, and he's just my happy boy. These color pencils, if you want to use them, and I highly recommend them, I'm going to drop an affiliate link in the description below to Amazon. I highly recommend you check them out. As I'm working, I'm constantly looking back and forth at my photo reference on my phone as well as my drawing. I just want to make sure that I keep with accuracy, keep exchanging colors as needed. Sometimes I'll bounce back and forth where I'll see a color that I've already previously used but may need to pick back up. So right now with this golden yellow, I'm just working on his cheeks, filling in that in just a little bit, taking my time, getting some glow in. And you can see, like, in his mouth, when I was working on the inside of his mouth where his tongue is, I kind of rushed that a little bit. You can see where I kind of got flat with my pencil and I kind of pushed a little bit too much. I think I was just rushing. You can see those white flecks of the sketchbook popping through. I probably could have done a better job with that. All right, so I'm adding in this taupe color. It might be an umber, I'm not sure. But I think I might catch a glimpse of the number on that. But so I'm going in like with that super sharp pencil, and I am adding in some of those details around the eyebrow and the eye because he's so young. His eyebrows are just starting to darken up, so I don't want to make his eyebrows super dark, that will age him and make him look older than what he is. So right now I'm adding some black into the pupil of his eye. He actually has blue eyes, but in the photograph that I took with my phone, his eyes appear that they're brown. His eyes are so big and bright, and I just wanted to make sure I captured that with these pencils. So I'm adding in what's called cherry. I'm adding in a cherry red into his mouth, also to darken up the mouth area, his laugh lines where his chunky cheeks protrude, and also adding in these little lines around his mouth. And again, adding some of those dark colors underneath the nose to again make that nose protrude away from the face. I need to create that shadow. All right, let's keep going. Back in with this warm brown. I believe this is like a Van Dyke brown that I'm adding in, switching it up. I think this is a raw sienna, and adding in some of those shades around his eyes, around the eye sockets to get his eyes to pop. And some more pink around his cheeks. This is, I believe, coral or salmon. And adding in some of this pumpkin orange, again to warm up his face, adding it into his lips. And working on his nostrils and his mouth. Working around teeth is sometimes difficult, especially when it comes to adults, when you're rendering around teeth. With children, it's not so bad to have color render around each individual tooth because it makes the teeth look juvenile, right? Kids' teeth are very uneven, they're very spaced out, they're very awkward, and sometimes that builds the charm of the portrait. With adults, you really don't want to go around each individual tooth too much unless you're drawing a caricature. That's kind of just, one of those etiquette type things. And adding in some gray because we all know teeth have shadow and shades in them. that not perfectly white like paper. And adding in some shadowing underneath his neck to push the neck back a little bit and his face forward to give them a little bit of separation, and a shadow around the collar of his shirt. And now we're adding in his warm hair colors. So I'm starting with sand and adding in streaks of, or I should say strokes of hair. And these pencils are super sharp, and because when you're working on sharpness, you can get those really nice wispy lines. And yes, we're adding in green. Now some blue for some shadowing. We don't always want to use a black or a charcoal gray because we want the portrait to look lifelike, and because the face is luminous, it reflects colors around it, and so you want to use real lifelike colors. So just adding in a few last minute additions around the collar, around his neck, his collar line. Adding a little bit more to his lips. And back to the hair. We are almost done with this portrait. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me. This is my first video on YouTube, so I'm really excited to be able to show this to you. My sketchbook is a little bowed from all the works underneath. I have a lot of paintings underneath this page, and so I have to hold it down a little bit because it keeps bowing up. So working on some individual strands, some chunks of hair. He has bedhead, although this was at the end of the day, so you know how boys are. I'm just adding in some dark colors now just to give it some depth, and back in with some yellow. That's where our light source is. And just refining that shirt a little bit more to make it pop. And hey, we're just about done. I really want to say thank you so much for sticking with my video today. This is my very first video. Like I said, I'm so excited. Thanks for watching.